Welcome back to Building a SaaS with SaasRock, day 4. Today we're going to override the business logic for a workflow transition and see how we can customize, overview, or edit views for custom entities. For this, I spent a few days building this engine for events and webhooks. You can see the previous videos. Since day 3, I posted how to deploy your SaaS to Vercel using Supabase, the events and webhooks feature, how to add custom events and webhooks, and 40 events for the Enterprise Edition. So Enterprise Edition demo is hosted on enterprise.saasrock.com and on the GitHub repository. Here we have 40 events instead of 5. The 40 events is on this video, which are basically all these. For subscriptions, accounts, API created, and rows. For this video, I need this one, row workflow transition. And on the enterprise, you can retry webhook attempts. We're going to try that in a second. And I will be implementing admin events and create custom webhook on the UI. So first, the edit route for XMLs, you need to create this file inside the app.tenant. You can copy this file, which is the auto-generated view for custom entities, but we want to change the UI. So first, copy this file, row edit route, which is right here, and customize it as you need. I'm gonna compare what I've changed using this online tool. As you can see, I implemented a custom loader to get the media instead of having to do it on the UI. And this is all the same. I added a custom delete event function. I deleted a comment, and what else? And instead of using row form, which is the auto-generated form for the entity, I implemented this simple form group that just accepts the media and shows the UI. The UUID from the XML. So next, the loader, well, I already showed you that I extended the default data, but used a custom for showing initial media files. And the action is the default. Also, if you want to share XMLs and apply tags, you need to copy these files, which are entity share, entity tags, within an XML folder like this. Share and tags. These are the same, but we changed the slug only. Okay, and since we're using the default action, we can add comments and tasks. So let's try our custom workflow logic. So when an XML is created, we're going to send it to processing, because I seeded the database with these 2 actions. If it's on pending, we're going to process it, and if it's invalid, we can process it again. So when it is processing, we need to read the UUID from the XML file, and if it's valid, pass it to process, and is processed, and if it's invalid, pass it to the invalid state. So let's go ahead and create a new XML. Here, before I submit it, I want to show you what did I did here. After I created the row, I'm gonna process the XML. So this is a custom function that is basically the same as entity new, where you row edit action here, when a workflow state on the auto-generated UI is performed, we're gonna perform this workflow step, and we're gonna create this transition event, which is gonna be cached by the transition webhook. If you're on the SaasRock core, you don't have this, but you can implement it fairly easily as the other events. Basically, I'm just receiving this transition DTO, where I get the row and the transition from state to state and who did it. And here, I'm basically reading the UUID, and if it's valid, I'm gonna update the XML and pass it to processed. Otherwise, I'm gonna pass it to invalid and update the workflow state. So this is a webhook, so we can use this logic when we get XMLs from the emails, but this is for the next video. I'm just gonna submit this. And here on the admin dashboard, here you can see that it's processing. So we have we're gonna have here on the events transition, and it's already completed. Let's see. It says success, and it read a valid UUID. So here, if I refresh, it should say processed, and the UUID should be updated. Now for the custom overview view, I've just modified this form, and as you can see, it's already read the UUID. So we can retry this attempt if I send an invalid XML. Let me try creating another one. Let's refresh the events. So it's still processing, and it says that it's invalid. So it's this one right here. So success, false, next state, invalid, and we didn't get the UUID. So you need to inspect this file and see if it has UUID on the one that I need, which is right at the bottom, not this one. And that's why it's invalid, but that is for another video. I just wanted to show you that on this transition webhook, you can customize your own logic based on something that happened. If it's the XML, the entity XML, and the next state is processing, we're gonna get the row, we're gonna read the XML, and if it starts with HTTPS, we're gonna download the Supabase file. Otherwise, we're just gonna pass the content of the file and read the UUID and set the next date. So this is basically what's the benefit of events and webhooks and why I implemented the engine. And on the next video, I will create and process XMLs with email attachments by reusing this logic of the transition. So on the inbound webhook, I'm gonna read the attachments from the email and see if it contains XMLs and PDFs, and create XML rows and pass it to the processing state so it will catch on the events and apply our custom logic. Thanks.